Hello, today we're going to do a sort of pseudo whiteboard on tenants and Morpheus. A tenant is an isolated environment with unique users and workloads that can be customized. A multi-tenant environment is not necessary for Morpheus, but can allow for that powerful administrative customization. When Morpheus is installed, there is a master tenant that is automatically created. All other tenants are subtenants, and there can only be one master tenant. The master tenant creates and controls all subtenants and can share or assign its resources to those subtenants. Subtenants cannot create or see resources from other subtenants, and they can only access master tenant resources that have been assigned or set as public. Closely linked to tenants are roles. The two types of roles in Morpheus are tenant roles and user roles. Tenant roles act as a sort of cap for user roles. When assigned to tenants, the tenant roles set the maximum permission levels for users in that tenant, meaning that user role permissions cannot exceed what the tenant role sets. User roles determine access permissions in Morpheus. Single tenant roles exist only in one tenant and cannot be assigned elsewhere. All roles created in a subtenant will be a single tenant user role. Multi-tenant roles can be assigned to multiple tenants, but can only be created by the master tenant. Any changes made to these roles from the master tenant ripple out to every tenant that has that multi-tenant role. To create a tenant, we'll be in Administration, Tenants, and then we'll click Create Tenant. Here you can assign the various data and metadata. You can also use the Advanced Options section to track customer data related to the tenant if needed. To edit a tenant, click on the pencil icon next to the tenant. To disable a tenant, uncheck this Enabled box here. And then to delete a tenant, click this trash can icon next to the tenant. In order to access a tenant, there must be at least one user within that tenant. To create a tenant user, we're going to click on the tenant we want to add the user to, and then click Create User. Here we can put in all their information, tenant roles, credentials, etc. Once that user is created, if you want to log into that tenant as that user just to check, you can click the gear icon and then click Impersonate. As with the tenants, if you want to edit a user, click the pencil icon, and if you want to delete a user, click the trash can icon. To create a tenant role, click on this Roles tab and click Create Role. Creating a tenant role requires having a role already created in the master tenant. Choose which role to copy and then click Save Changes. Again, if you want to edit the role, click the pencil icon, and if you want to delete the role, click the trash can icon. You can then assign this role to a user in that tenant. I hope this was a helpful overview on Tenancy and Morpheus. Thank you for watching.